Senator Harry Reid has brought up a subject that the Obama campaign sure does not want to start talking about, and that's religion. He insulted Governor Mitt Romney during a conference call with reporters, saying, quote, he's coming to a state where there are a lot of members of the LDS Church. They understand that he is not the face of Mormonism. Then Reid went on to say that he agrees with the view that Romney has, quote, sullied his religion. So I guess if Prince Harry can talk about Romney's faith, I can talk all about the president's faith as well, and that means his pastor of more than 20 years, the Reverend Jeremiah Wright. I'm not so sure that is a path that the White House is hoping to go down. Joining me now with reaction from the Faith and Freedom Coalition, Ralph Reid, and radio talk show host, Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall. Why bother? Let's remind everybody he sat in the pews 20 years, but he never heard a thing. But he took tapes on the road with him to fortify himself. He was inspired. He is like family to me, Reverend Wright.
We bombed Hiroshima, we bombed Nagasaki, and we nuked far more than the thousands in New York and the Pentagon, and we never batted an eye. Because the stuff we have done overseas is now brought right back into our own front yards. America's chickens are coming home to roost. No, 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 not God bless America, God damn America, that's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than human.
Sunday after 9/11, America's chickens coming home to roost. GD America.
Me first?
You first.
One of the things I love about our country is that I honestly don't care what religion my politicians are, because religion and politics are very different.
You don't care if you sit in that guy's church? Would you sit in that guy's church?
No, I wouldn't sit in any church.
What does it say about a guy that sat there 20 years in that guy's church?
Well, the American people in 2008 elected President Obama, and based on that, regardless of what is said about Governor Romney, what is said about the president with regards to religion, it doesn't matter. And the reason I'm no longer a Christian is because, like Gandhi, I could not find Christ among them.
Okay.
He not only sat in his church for 20 years, he titled his second autobiography after a sermon that Jeremiah Wright preached, and he said that Wright was his spiritual mentor.
He is like family to me.
Now look, I think that's been largely litigated. I frankly think the election is going to be about his performance as president. But I'll tell you this, Sean, this is a campaign by a man who promised that there were no red states or blue states, that he would bring us together, that he would heal the planet, that the oceans would begin to recede. And instead what you're seeing is Chicago gangland-style fear and smear. This is a campaign whose super PAC, whose money has been raised, by the way, at events with White House as well as campaign officials, suggested that Mitt Romney was responsible for the death of a man's wife. According to Glenn Thrush of Politico, Axelrod has personally pushed the message that Romney has a weirdness factor. He said that he's, quote, from another planet. And now they play the religion card. And, Sean, I got to tell you, I don't think it's an accident.
They've also played the race card. They've also played class
all of the
warfare. Above. They have played divide America along racial lines, rich versus poor, old versus young, scare grandma. We're going to throw granny over the cliff. Republicans want dirty air and water. You know what the problem is? Obama lies. His campaign, the president himself said their plan is for dirty air and dirty water. That's a lie. And I don't like my president lying to me. Do you like your president lying to you?
Look, I don't like anybody lying. I think it's wrong, left or right, politician or otherwise. But both camps do it, Sean. When Governor Romney says the president is apologizing, he's lying. And we're lying if we think that the president, if it's okay to attack the president's Christianity, whether it's with regard to Jeremiah Wright or Billy Graham's son being asked, do you think he's a Christian, not being able to answer?
This is another cheap shot by the dirtiest campaign in history. And
Senator Reid is not paid by the campaign to give his opinion as a Mormon of a Mormon.
Obama. Let's be real. But the point is liberals like yourself remain silent. You stand idly by and you make excuses as they accuse.
Am I here? I'm not being silent. What I'm saying is that
do you condemn Harry Reid's remark or not?
No, and I'll tell you why.
You don't condemn him.
No, because I don't
attacking Romney's faith.
I don't condemn the First Amendment for anybody, left or right.
Of course he has a constitutional right to say it. I'm asking whether you find the content of those remarks acceptable.
You want my real answer?
Yeah.
Okay. As a former Christian, where the last lines of the Bible and that nobody should add to or take away any words of this Bible, I'm perplexed why the anger of an assault against a religion, which has a separate book of Mormon, Having said that, I don't care about the religion of my
You didn't answer the question. Look, here's...
No, hold your question. I'll give you a chance
I'm okay with it because it's covered in the First Amendment. It's fair game.
More with Ralph Reid and Leslie Marshall. And welcome back to Hannity as we continue with Ralph Reid and Leslie Marshall. All right, so we're talking about religion and how Harry Reid has brought it up in this case. You were asking a very important question. I'll throw it back to you.
Well, I think my point is that this is clearly part of a systematic strategy by the Obama campaign to try to remind evangelical voters, who they overperformed among 4 years ago, that Mitt Romney's a Mormon. I don't think it's an accident that within 72 hours, after we announced the biggest voter mobilization effort ever among evangelical voters, that they play the religion card. I think it shows, by the way, a fundamental misunderstanding of evangelical voters.
Here, Romney has been accused pretty much of murder. He wasn't even at Bain Capital at the time this woman got sick. It was 7 years after he had left, before she died. He was gone. But the president in his campaign takes $1 million from Bill Maher. $1 million, but he calls Sandra Fluck. Do you see any hypocrisy in this president? Do you see when he says Republicans want dirty air and water, that's sleazy?
I see. If you're asking me about hypocrisy, and Mitt Romney is 74% of white evangelicals. The president has 95% of African American evangelicals.
I asked you a question. I want to know, what do you say to the guy you're going to vote for?
I find hypocrisy when you're attacking someone's Christianity or disfavor with the pastor he sat in a pew with for 20 years, and how many people said he was a Muslim,
you didn't answer my
questioning what religion he was.
Is this president
there.
running a smear campaign?
I feel both campaigns are pretty dirty.
Give me the equivalent.
And America likes mudslinging, or neither side would do it. It's effective.
Give me an equivalent.
It works.
Give me the equivalent.
Well, Mitt Romney did, to his credit, I will give him that. When everybody's questioning the president's birthplace,
yeah,
he did come out.
Sean, there's one simple reason why they have to do this, because they can't talk about their record. He promised to cut the deficit in half at the end of his first term. He's blown a hole in the deficit large enough to drive a Mack truck through. He's piled up more debt under his presidency than the previous 9 presidents combined.
So why is it Mitt Romney 12, 15, 20%?
I want to go to Ralph's point here. So this president says that Republicans want dirty air and water, that Mitt Romney is pretty much a murderer, and that they want kids with autism, Down syndrome, and the elderly to fend for themselves. This president in this campaign has never been asked, 40 days out of this election, by the media, why he said those things and if he really believes them.
It's real simple. If there's 23 million people out of work or giving up looking for work, there's 47 million people in poverty, and the price of gasoline has more than doubled.
That's all he's got left.
Then you engage in personal attacks on your opponent. But it's not going to work, Sean, and I'll tell you why it's not going to work. It's not going to work because of the failed economic record of this president, and it's not going to work because he's out of step with the values of mainstream America. And it doesn't matter how much they try to smear Romney's faith, those personal attacks are not going to work.
When Senator Reid said this, and I don't think it was right to say, but when Senator Reid said this about Mitt Romney's faith, you know, and we come after him, how come it was okay for John Boehner to say that Barack Obama, the president, never worked a day in his life? Senators don't work? I mean, professors don't work, lawyers don't work. We may not like lawyers, but they work.
We got to take a break. He wasn't 8.
And I didn't get the memo on the purple ties, guys. I did not get the memo on the purple ties.
Thank you very much.